What you're about to hear is pure human vocals. No instruments, no sound effects. Pure, live. The vocapeople.
Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah.
Da-di-da-dum, di-dum,
Ba-di-da-dum, di-dum,
Ba-di-da-da, di-da-da-dum.
dum. Bum, 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 bum. Bum, 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 bum.
Tutti frutti, oh frutti, tutti frutti, oh frutti, tutti frutti, oh frutti, tutti frutti, oh frutti.
Round, round, get around, I get around.
Yeah,
Get around, round, round, I get around.
I get down, get up, bow, 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 get up, bow, 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 get up, bow, bow, get up.
Down around the corner, half a mile from here, you see them both switch round, and you watch them disappear without
If you wanna be my lover,
Hey, Macarena.
Been there, been forgotten, I do. I'd been married a long time ago. Where did you come from? Where did you go? Where did you come from, Cotton Eye Joe?
Hit me, baby, one more time. Who let the dogs out?